Hey, good morning, everyone. We're glad that you did not brave the winter storm this morning. The parking lot here at Emmanuel is a mess. I think we would have had a good old-fashioned pile-up if everyone had come in this morning. But Ben and I did brave the winter storm to come in and talk about how we're going to communicate some of these really important updates that we have going on in our mental health and our restorative justice research committees for you. And so the first thing that we want to really press upon the importance of is some upcoming meetings that we have outside of the scope of our research. So we have all kinds of really exciting updates in terms of our research, and we can do the best research in the world, but we have to remember that that's not going to get us anywhere if we don't show up in numbers to our events. And so the next two events that you need to be thinking about coming to outside of research are your network meetings in your individual congregations, as well as the solutions briefing on April 10th. So you can check out the magnet that you have for details about the solutions briefing and check in with your team leader at your congregation for updates about your individual network meetings. I'm going to turn it over to Ben.
Yeah, so the Mental Health Research Committee was planning to meet this morning. And they're going to be most likely, I will confirm this later, meeting next Saturday to really give you an in-depth look at what's happening. But for now, I'm just going to kind of give you a quick update. As you know, we won the Crisis Center, and the primary responsibility of the research committee related to mental health is making sure that the funding set aside for the Crisis Center and the campus is going to have the most impact as humanly possible. So the Mental Health Research Committee thus far since the research kickoff has really been trying to figure out how can we institute a formal evaluation of how this money is impacting people's lives. And so we are comparing Crisis Center measurements in other communities. We've also met with Dan Partridge at the Health Department. This is an important piece of information. The Health Department has agreed or formally adopted in their community health plan for the next 5 years a behavioral health priority. It's one among, I think, 3. And so they're really focused on quantifying and impacting a number of mental health areas, many of which relate to the Crisis Center and the services that are there. So we sat down with Dan Partridge, the director of the Health Department, and asked him how is he planning to quantify and track measurements of both the Crisis Center and the Community Health Plan. And he asked, this will probably be the most important thing that we were going to have this morning, which we will do soon, is he asked this question, well, what outcomes do you want to be measured? And so we had the director of a very sophisticated, quantifiable, data-driven guy asking for our advice on what measurements that we want to track related to mental health. And we said we would like to get back to you on that. And so we were going to have this morning a significant piece of our agenda to discuss the answer to that question in light of the idea that we want to track, or in light of some other information we gathered from other crisis centers who have been doing measurement or data-driven impact studies. So that's pretty much what I'll share now. You'll get an email, or in this email at the bottom, you'll see some other dates that are coming up related to the research area. But I'll turn it back over to Anna to remind you again about the grassroots organizing piece.
So all of those are some really wonderful updates, and we are able to have made all of that progress again because we had folks show up in great numbers, not just at our Nehemiah Actions, but at meetings that we hold throughout the year, like our Community Problems Assembly, but also our network meetings and our solutions briefing. So again, make sure that you're holding the date, checking your magnet and holding the date for the solutions briefing coming up on April 10th. And also that you're checking in with your team leaders and with your pastor to talk about the network meetings that are coming up at your congregation this February and March.
All right. See you, everybody.